All right, September 25th.
Another Friday.
Man, Christmas is only like, what, 2 months away?
I know, right? I've been hearing they've got stuff out for Christmas already. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm getting my Santa Claus beard going, so. All right, so September 25th, we're still in COVID, although it seems like it's definitely we're kind of on the backside of it. So things are getting a little bit back to normal. Who knows what normal is going to be from here on out, so maybe it's a new normal or whatever.
Well, it sounds like masks are going to be a mainstay for a while. So.
Yeah.
As always, we welcome any questions. I can see your questions right here when I have this thing up. So you're more than welcome to send any questions in. We'll try to answer them straight away. We have some special folks with us today. Brock and Jaime Blikre, did I say that right?
Yes. You did.
Unfortunately, one of them is a Cubs fan, so.
Not unfortunately.
Sometimes you just gotta, you scrape the bottom of the barrel with a guest, and, and you just can't find anybody beyond, you bring in a Cubs fan and, do what you gotta do, so.
Times are tough.
But,
Yeah.
so it's funny, like, we were just saying, they both made the playoffs, but, I mean, doesn't it feel like it's a weird, it wasn't even a season, there was no.
You sneeze and the season's over.
I know, right?
It's just over, yeah.
So it was a weird year, but you know what would be really cool is if they actually met and played for the championship.
Yeah, so
that would be cool.
I talked to a couple of buddies of mine in Chicago, and I'm going back next week. I gotta take care of something, but they were saying if Mayor Lightfoot doesn't allow people in the stadiums, they're just gonna rush this. They're going in. It's like if it's a Subway Series in Chicago,
It would be.
there's
amazing.
no way they're gonna keep the fans out of Wrigley or
Right.
But how cool would that be?
out of the Cell or that Little League park up on the north side.
It'd be amazing. It'd be awesome
Well,
for the city.
and I heard that the Cubs actually this year, even though with COVID and everything, they made enough money to hire a gardener to get all those weeds off the wall out in the outfield. So that might be a good thing.
Okay.
Turns out COVID's not such a bad thing for the Cubs. That Little League team on the north side.
You're rendered speechless.
I'm being kind. I'm being
At
kind
least
right
you
now.
know there's no game like a game of Wrigley, right?
Yeah, right.
All right, let's get to work. So today, our subject is my favorite, and I'll tell you why. So we're going to talk a little bit about relationships. We're going to get into
Versus
how
transition.
you guys got into business and all that. But before we do, I want to tell you that I've been in sales for a long 30 plus years. Okay, 1986, I got my first sales job. And I'm here to tell you, and I've had my successes and failures, and I've gotten my ass kicked and had to get back up and start over. But I will tell you this, that no matter what sales you're into, and whether you choose to admit it or not, if you're a realtor, you're a salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
Flat out, you're a salesperson. Nobody's going to do business with you until they bought into you. So I'm here to tell you today, with my experience and everything I know, that relationship is key. I mean, it's the foundation. It's the cornerstone of what we do. So today's discussion is not just for new agents; it's for all agents. We had who was the guy we had in the mastermind that day? That Steve, got a deep voice, big tall guy. Yeah, he's
Steve Castle?
Steve Castle.
Yeah.
So one thing that I've learned is that I still need to learn. So Steve was in a mastermind a couple weeks ago. He was talking about different stuff that he's doing to get his deals accepted, and I learned from him. And here's a guy that hasn't been doing things as long as I have, but just figured out a way to make things work. So we're always learning. But without question, your job, the foundation of your job as a realtor, is relationship and relationship building.
Well, you added that learning mindset, which is something that should never go away in this business, because we know deal to deal changes so much, right?
Yeah.
So we're always learning in this business. So
One of my favorite things about the business, right, is you never know what the day is going to bring or what opportunity is going to be there. So.
Yeah. So formally, let me introduce Brock and Jaime. Tell us a little bit about yourselves. Are you from Arizona? I think you're from North Dakota. And how you got to Arizona, how you got in real estate?
Yeah, what made you get into real estate?
Lead us out.
I'll let my beautiful wife talk first.
Oh.
Okay, so now we know who the boss is. Obviously, the Cubs fan does not have any say in what's going on. Let's just get that out there.
I'm a gentleman.
Yeah.
I'm a gentleman.
Oh gosh, no, but thanks for having us. I mean, it's been obviously, you know, I think we sat down and met with you before we were fresh with our headlights. So Brock and I have been doing this for 3.5 years. I was born and raised in Alaska originally. 18, decided, hey, I'm getting the heck out of here and going to warmer weather. So never thought I'd end up here, but went to school at ASU, got a job with Coca-Cola right out of college.
What was your degree in?
Marketing.
Marketing.
Yep, marketing degree,
Yeah.
and so worked at Coke a couple years, and then I actually worked for a finance company doing mortgages, actually selling them for like 11 to 13% first mortgages. And I didn't know any different, right? I think it was like just a great introduction to treat people well, give them all the information, and they kind of, you know, you believe in yourself, you believe in a product, right? And you kind of go from there. So, yeah, I worked at a subprime finance company for, gosh, how many years was that?
Subprime?
Yeah, it was a
Can I see your
subprime.
hands?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let me see your hand. Back subprime days were. You got
Yeah,
both. You're good.
exactly. Well, I didn't know any different. Like that's the thing, right? Like I had no idea. I wasn't a homeowner. Like
Was that like 2005, somewhere in there?
a little bit
earlier.
before, yeah. So like not 2000 to 2003,
2005,
I think
yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, after Dylan.
I was doing them then
After
too. I was doing
Yeah,
them then too.
yeah. I just didn't.
Fog and mirror, you're good.
Yeah, now I look back.
What do you do
and
for a
I'm like,
living? I sell heroin to school kids.
Yeah.
Good, you're pro.
Right, now I feel horrible, right? Because you look back and you're like, holy crap, like these people, you know, I sold them my first mortgage at 13% and I went in smiling and was excited and happy about it, right?
Right.
I just didn't know any different. So, so yeah, and Brock and I actually met at a bar in Alaska. He was up there for the summer and the rest is history, right?
Yeah. Yes, I'm originally from North Dakota and
Williston, by any chance?
not Williston. Why not mine it? The Great Magic City. So, 30,000 population and
Any walleye fishing? Do you know
a lot of walleye fishing back in the day.
Oh, let's
Absolutely.
Go. Let's
So
go, man.
yeah,
I wanna walleye fish so bad,
yeah, great time. When you look back, when you're there, you're excited to get out because it's so small. But when I look back, it was a great place to live and great state, great
Do you have
people.
any kids?
Huh?
3
Do you
kids.
have any
3
kids?
kids.
Yeah.
So raising kids up in either Alaska or North Dakota, so different, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Night and day.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and that's what we talk about. But yeah, it was crazy. But then I went to college. Or I played junior hockey for a couple of years, and then I went to college and met Jaime up in Alaska with some buddies, like you said, the first week at the bar. And,
Which everybody
the rest
should
is
know,
history.
Alaska
These bars
is
are
like
beautiful
20
places.
guys to every.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, right.
so talk about being a salesman. You
Yeah.
gotta sell yourself, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I was able to sell
You got the
myself
best
there.
looking girl in town.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was able to sell myself there and been selling ever since.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Right.
Okay,
yeah.
and so, how'd you end up in Arizona?
She went to ASU. We had met when I was still had 1 year left of school, and I went back to school in Minnesota. She was down here. She just graduated.
At the U?
Working. She's a devil.
At the
Oh,
AS.
but did you go to
Oh no, I went to a small Division III school, Concordia College.
playing hockey?
Yep, playing hockey there, and
Did you play with anybody that went pro?
I played with one guy that got drafted by the North Stars, or back then it was the
now
North
they're
Stars.
Dallas
Yeah,
Stars, yeah.
Dallas Stars now.
Dino
So-
Ciccarelli, Willie Plum, all
But in
those
junior
guys.
hockeys, I played against a lot of guys that were big time.
Yeah.
Probably the biggest one was Marty Murray. Played for the Vancouver Canucks for like 10 years. He was a stud.
So you and I, despite that, would get along great. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm a hockey addict.
Yeah.
I'm a junkie.
Yeah, it's weird since my goal was always to play Division I, so I didn't quite get there. So after college, I've never really followed hockey since. We tried to get my son into it. He didn't have any desire, and since then I've never even followed hockey. I became a baseball fan, so I'm a big baseball guy now. So it's kind of weird how that all played out, but
So I've been coaching baseball for 25 years.
really,
Thousands and thousands of kids. My
Awesome.
favorite sport is hockey.
Yeah.
No doubt, yeah.
hockey it's a special sport. I think TV does it doesn't do it justice,
I
right?
agree.
You gotta see it live.
I
Because it's
It is
amazing
just a
how
feeling.
quick they are, that, I mean, you have to have so much agility, you have to be so coordinated. I mean, you got somebody flying at you. It's similar to football in that somebody's flying at you, but then you also are trying to score, somebody's blocking the net. Like, there's just so much that goes into it, people don't realize.
Oh, absolutely. There is a lot of strategy in hockey. So
lot
when
of
I
strategy.
first watched it, this is kind of funny. And you know how they used to dump that puck down in the corner,
Dump it.
and it used to piss me off. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm like, why are they doing that?
Yeah.
Why are they doing that? And then when I actually learned
Yeah.
the strategy behind it, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
You know, it's the best is-
They're doing a line change, they're doing something, so they gotta dump the puck down.
Right.
It's best when you're watching hockey with someone that doesn't really get the game, and the camera shows the puck's coming up to the blue line, and you're yelling, shoot, and there's nobody even in the picture yet,
Yeah.
and you know there's a guy coming up to the point that's gonna just lay a rocket.
Yeah.
And people, how'd you know that? I said, well, that's where he's supposed to be. It's like, you know, so yeah, TV doesn't.
So what
do it.
made
No,
you
it
guys,
doesn't.
what drove you to real estate?
So we obviously had both been in sales. I know you didn't talk
Yeah.
a lot about your background, but
No.
we were running a boutique. So we have 3 kids. Super important to me to be home with my kids. Like, we both had kind of committed when we had kids, if we have to live in a 1-bedroom apartment, in a box, whatever, to, you know, make sure we have that quality time with our kids. That's what we're gonna do.
And for her to stay home with them when
Yeah.
they're young. That was
Yeah.
really important to us.
Yeah.
Back to the North Dakota, Alaska thing, that foundation.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
wanted to be the one giving the foundation, not
Yeah.
a daycare or, you know,
Yeah.
somebody else.
Yeah.
We don't have any family here.
Yeah.
So that was extremely important to both of us, that
Yeah.
we want our beliefs and our foundation to be installed into our kids, not a stranger doing it.
And quite honestly, at that time, it was a huge leap of faith, because I did have a very, I was, you know, making a lot of money where I was at the finance company, shockingly, selling 13%, right? No, but I was making a lot of money, and then, you know, I got pregnant, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go back to work, you know, like, we'll have a nanny, you know, we'll make these adjustments, and then literally, they put my son in my arms, and I'm like, no,
Everything changed.
like, I'm not doing it, you know, and we're like, yep, whatever it takes, and
I
we've
took like
been-
an entry level job because I was doing mortgages as well
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah, so you were a salespeople and
yeah, I was
doing
doing
loans.
mortgages, but when we first had our first kid, you don't understand, especially then when you're young.
We could put it over here.
No, that's all right. When you're young, you don't understand how the insurance works with
Yeah.
babies and stuff. And we were so nervous about that, so I went
Yeah.
to Corporate 500 bank, and I took like an entry level job just to get my foot in the door, and then I worked my way up and became a branch manager and managed 3 different branches across the valley. And then I hated it though. I hated it every day because there's a lot of things I couldn't control. I'm big on, again, relationships. If somebody comes into my office, I want to be able to handle it, and I couldn't because there's multiple facets to this corporation.
Bureaucracy.
Yeah, and I
Corporate
can't
protocol,
I
right,
can't
yeah.
do that, and so that drove me crazy. Plus, I hate being locked in a spot for 10 hours a day, and I can't leave ever. So that drove me crazy. So she's like, "Hey, another leap of faith type thing. Why don't you come and work with me on the boutique?" So we did that for 4 years, and it was going good. But
What
this
kind of
was-
boutique? What is it?
girls boutique, online boutique store. So right when Facebook had started, she was really good with Facebook,
Yeah.
with her marketing.
all the
group.
organic,
She
like,
did all the
traffic or
organic
whatever.
stuff. She
Yeah.
grew it to $500,000 business,
Yeah.
and had a lot of following on Facebook. Big deal, like in our neighborhood. Like, a lot of people would be like, "Oh my God, Pocket Full of Sunshine." She did a good job of incorporating models into part of the business, and so a lot of people were excited to have their kid be a model for a Pocket Full of Sunshine, which really grew the business.
So let me
across
guess,
the
you
whole
made
nation.
relationships with people that worked out.
Yeah.
That worked out.
Exactly.
But surprisingly, I don't really like girls' clothes that much. So
Mike does.
yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
So that wasn't good on our relationship.
No.
It's a Cubs thing,
Relationship-
if in case
it was,
anybody-
it wasn't good on our relationship at all. So we said, you know what, this isn't working. Let's get in. She'd been talking about real estate, and I said, all right, another
What year was
leap
that?
of faith. 2017.
Oh, just 3 years ago.
Yeah.
3 years
Wow.
ago. So.
Okay.
February 2017, we actually, I think January, we met with Mike
Yeah.
up in over by Las Sendas,
Yep.
and then after that, we joined in February and had our first deal like in March.
How did you find my home group?
A friend. We had a
yeah.
really good friend that worked here, and that was such a blessing. I don't think we would have
They were here in my
understand the
group, too.
whole.
Yeah, he was at my home group, and then
Yeah.
also one of my good friends is he owns Lister Pros. So
Jason, what's his name?
Jordan Nielsen.
Jordan Nielsen,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I talked to Jordan, and I said,
I've been on his show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's a
So
really good guy.
great guy, and I was talking to Jordan. I go, hey, you take photos for all these different brokerages. Which one would you go to if you were? Well, and he was an agent at the time, but his focus is on Lister Pro. He said, hands down, I would go to my home group. Hands down, my home group is the place to go. Because he knew how we are. We don't need a lot of hand-holding. We're very motivated. We know how to run a successful, well, we thought we would know how to run
Yeah.
a successful business. So he's like, based on what you're looking for, go to my home group. Michael kind of reiterated everything when we met with him, and
I think the fact that I'm a Cubs fan,
that didn't hurt at all.
you know,
Cubs fan is like, all right, let's shake right now. Let's get
Yeah,
this
let's get it
done.
done.
Yeah. So and,
I'd have ran the other way.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me take that and kind of move into this whole relationship thing.
Yeah.
So because really it sounds like it's all about your relationship and
Yeah.
what Jordan knew. Same thing with me with my home group. Now I'm agent number 86, so there was nobody here. when
You're an
I-
OG.
Yeah, I'm an OG. And
Yeah.
now we got 2,700 in 86.
Right.
So it's really changed a lot. Ultimately, I came here because of the training, but I didn't need sales training. I could teach the sales training. It was real estate training that I need. I need to know, how do I fill out a contract, because I'm going to be doing business.
Sure.
And everybody's like, yeah. Well, I ended up winning Rookie of the Year because I worked my ass
That's
off.
awesome.
Sure.
But I will tell you this. So the other day I was talking to someone, and they had a book, and it was like the 100 best advice from motivational speakers or something like that. It was a book combining all these great lessons. And I told the person that was looking at the book, I said, you understand that a lot of that is opinion? And he goes, yeah. I said, so you can get good and bad from all that. The bottom line is the foundation of our business is relationships.
Yeah.
So that whole thing, let me give you an example. So Zig Ziglar, everybody's heard of Zig
Oh, yeah.
Ziglar, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not a fan, and I'll tell you why. So Zig Ziglar says that he can make anybody into a great salesperson. I call bullshit.
Yeah.
do too.
I don't
Me
think
too.
that's true. I think you can make someone into a great order taker,
Yep.
okay? But I think true salesmen, the ones that know when to listen and not talk,
Yeah.
the ones that know what to say and when, the ones that are knowledgeable, the ones that have done all their homework, the ones that when the customer says no and then later say yes, now you're talking about a true sale. I believe those are born and not made. I don't believe you can make someone into a great salesperson.
I agree.
And the key to every great salesperson, and I don't care who in that book of the 100 people, everybody in there will tell you that it's a relationship thing.
Yeah.
So I pride myself on being able to create that relationship within 30 seconds or less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing an open house, I mean, when you've done it as long as I have, I've made huge mistakes.
Yeah.
Sure.
I've taken big risks. I've said the wrong thing. I've lost business, but I learned every time
Sure.
it happened. So
Sure.
so you learn how to address people, or how, look at people how they're dressed, and that'll tell you maybe how to approach them. If someone's got a Megadeth T-shirt on,
Right.
that's probably different than you're going to talk to somebody that's got a Frank Sinatra T-shirt.
Or if they
on.
got a
So-
Green Bay Packers shirt on, I don't want to.
Right, yeah, get out. Exactly, right, Green Bay? See ya. So relationships start at hello. Truly, they
Yeah.
start at hello. So
For sure.
let's talk a little bit about how you guys build your relationships and,
Yeah.
and how important they are to your business.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think really kind of the key
Okay,
for us.
time's up, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, boom, move on, pass the buck.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Whole
exactly,
show.
good.
So Jenny was nervous. She's like, "Oh God, is there gonna?" I'm like, "No."
Shoot,
I'm
I'm booted.
I'm
No,
listening,
what's
yeah.
the time? You're like, hey, minimum time, right? Jeez. Now, see, I have to retrain. Where was I going with this? I had a great line. No, I think, first of all, for me, relationships, I was raised by a single dad and I had no family. So like I've always had to kind of network with community and friends, like that's been my family, right? And so when I meet somebody, I think I always kind of have the mindset like, what can I do for this person? I'm not talking business wise, right? Just like, how can I serve this person? What can I get to know about this person? And when you really have a genuine and sincere interest in people, not what can they do for me, right? Not, oh, is this going to be a deal for me? Or, oh my gosh, it's a small mobile home for $10,000. It's not worth my time. I think my philosophy and Brown's philosophy has always been like, people can always add value to your life, and generally you can always add value to someone's life, right? Like if like you say, you know when to listen, you know when to talk, right? Like that's where relationships start for me. And when people understand that you are there to help them, whether it be real estate, whether it be they had surgery and you're going to drop by a meal, even though you've met them one time on the baseball field. We have a son that plays baseball, right? That's where relationships.
Some technical left-handed pitching.
Yeah. He's your guy, but he's not left-handed.
Yeah. But that, I think, is like a genuine thing. Because you'll hear people say, like, oh, I care and I want to build relationships. But the minute they find out, like, oh, that person has horrible credit, right? Or they have no money or something. It's kind of like, okay, peace out, see you later, right? I mean, I think...
Oh, you're only looking for a rental?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know. Neither one of us really have that mindset. And I think it comes back from being abundantly blessed. You know, I mean, we have been our whole life together. We've taken giant leaps of faith, and it's always worked out for us, right? And so I think our kind of philosophy is have that servant heart of being able to serve others and build the relationship from the ground up, regardless of if they're going to be able to provide monetary value to you by way of a deal, right? Maybe they tell a family member, maybe they tell a coworker that you treated them great, knowing you were getting nothing in return.
And the foundation of all that is relationship.
Yeah.
So let me put some icing on that cake. I think authenticity is the key to
Yes.
that. So
Yes.
Yeah, true genuineness.
So
I mean,
if you
that's
tell,
when my business changed was
Yep.
the same thing, because I came from the mortgage background,
Yep.
and when I came into real estate, I was desperate to make money, and I had that commission mindset when I first started.
Yeah.
And then I wondered why there was this drought of no business, no money. But when I started realizing, wait a minute, let me just do what I did in mortgages. I truly cared about helping people make the best decision about their finance.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to do this, apply the same principles, and really listen and take care of people. And my business took off.
Yeah.
It was they can tell,
Exactly.
right?
You
They
can tell
when you truly
anybody.
care and when you don't.
Yeah,
So-
when you're fake or trying to fit
Yeah.
inside of a box to, make yourself appear
so I
a certain way.
can tell you the biggest insult that I've ever received was I had a guy tell me that he felt that I was too salesman-y.
Oh.
And it was like a punch right in the face
Sure.
because I was just being nice. I was being authentic. So I took it like as an insult, like, I gotta make myself better. I don't want to come across that way. But at the same time, I turned around, I was like, you know what? If I seem salesman-y to him, but that was me authentically, you gotta stick with what you know.
Yeah,
For
we
sure.
know that's
Yeah.
going to happen, right?
Yeah,
It's not,
for sure.
You're not going to win every
No. You
person,
don't
no matter how
exactly.
good you are, right? So,
For
yeah.
sure.
I struggle
For
with that
sure.
a lot too. I'll beat myself up, right? Like, not that you lose many deals or you lose many people, but you're like, hey, if that was the best me and that was exactly, truly and authentically me, the way I do business, the way I want to treat people, and I wasn't a good fit for that person, then you have to be okay with it, right? But it's hard, especially early on. You're like, oh my gosh, you almost want to change, or like, this person's doing that and they're successful, so I should be doing that. Well, no, you're not going to be successful because that's not you. That's that person, right? And what they're doing to be successful, but that isn't me. And you can be successful being you as long as you know who you are, right?
Yeah.
That's what it kind of circles back to.
Which allows us to have our own report card.
Yes.
So I can tell you of all the deals I've done, and I've done a whole bunch, I've got 2 people that didn't like me at the end of it, or felt like
You didn't do a good
something
job for them.
like I
Sure.
couldn't call them and say, hey, how you guys doing?
Right.
Like I wouldn't call them. Only 2. And one of them, I ended up doing both sides of a deal.
Mhm.
so they maybe thought that I was taking care of the other guy more than them, which is really a slap in the face because you have a fiduciary duty, but it's really hard in a dual representation.
It is very tough.
So that one I kind of got, but the other one was just flat out. I mean, I broke my ass for these people, and at the end, he was like, "Yeah, we'd rather not have you at the closing." And I was devastated.
Yeah, it is.
You know, I mean, you want people to like you, and you work hard at creating that relationship, and you get 20 attaboys. All you need is one. Dude, I can't believe you did that. And all those attaboys are gone. So that relationship part of everything is so vitally important.
Yeah.
So what do you think your strength is as far as creating relationships? Can you do it fast? Are you good at creating relationships fast? Or is it more of a nurturing thing for you guys?
I
think she's amazing really fast. You had mentioned open house, and I was looking back. So our first our first deal we got was a listing, and we held an open house out in Gold Canyon 55 plus community. We held an open house every single day because we don't have anything else.
Yeah.
And so plus we're working hard, so we're fine with it. We're meeting so many people and we're creating relationships right off the bat. And that led to like 7 transactions or 6 transactions for us. And we're like, oh my God. And all we're doing is just talking to people and sincerely getting to know them. And I think that's when the light bulb went on, like, this could be really good for us, right?
Well, and we totally had the ultimate test too. I think the second day at the open house, a guy comes in and I'm talking to him and his wife, and he's like, "Hey, do you think you could go show me that house down the street and write an offer for me?" And I'm like, "Damn, this is a sweet gig, right?"
Oh, sorry, I have to stay here.
Exactly. I'm locked in here,
But so I think we were like a titch bit spoiled too, right? Because we went home and we were like, "Dang, does it really work like this?" You know?
It does good things happen. I believe that.
Right? But I mean, exactly. So we're like, but we do. We just.
I think we're same as you mentioned. I'm very strategic, so I'm not size. That's a bad word, but I look at people and I look for things where I can connect. Just like when I met you right away, what did I say right away? Oh, you're a Blackhawks fan? Because I know we can talk hockey right away, right?
Now are you going to have 2 categories, Megadeth and Sinatra?
Well, the problem is now, he sucks and I'm Cubs, so we definitely always have something to talk about.
But seriously, that's creating a relationship. You and I, right off the bat, Mike and I love each other. We give each other crap about the Sox and Cubs. But really, we care more about the name on the front than any of those guys do. All they care about is the name on the back. So,
for sure.
You know, I mean, that's sports. But that's creating a relationship, and I've always said, I have a class actually that I teach that you can create. You have something in common with everybody that walks in an open house. Everybody, not a single person do you not have something in common with. You eat and you breathe right off the bat, and you're in Arizona. There's 3. Now you find out maybe a sports fan. Did they have a college football team on their shirt, or is their hair real long? What does that tell you about someone? Or do they have kids with them? What's that?
You said the long hair.
No, but you gotta size people up and find a way to create a relationship. And
well, you know,
it's not as hard as
no, it's very easy. If you like talking with people, it's easy. And like I grew up in a locker room with 20 people all the time, right? So you have all different types of personality, but we all have the end goal, and that's how I look at real estate. The goal is to find a house. That's why you're coming into my open house, whether you know it or not. Maybe you're I'm just casually looking, right? I'm in no rush. How many times do we hear that? But you know you're there for a reason. If you're just casually looking, you're not in a house. So it's just slow, working on everybody's process, creating the relationship, number 1, and then working towards their timeline. And I think that was at first, when you're first starting out real estate, it's like, oh my gosh, we need, you got to get paid, right? So you kind of focus on that. But once our pipeline started growing, we realized, oh my gosh, all we have to do is just be authentic, be who we are, create the relationship. We're always going to have a pipeline. And then guess what? When one falls out, it doesn't hurt as bad. Financially wise, right? Obviously it still hurts because that person's not getting their house or that part of it obviously hurts, but the financial part I'm speaking to, it doesn't hurt as bad, it doesn't sting as much because you know, hey, we have 7 more that are coming, so it's all good. And when we talk with a lot of clients through, you know, our Zillow partnership, I can't tell you how often it's like, wow, you're not pushing me to buy this house. No, I told you I wasn't going to do that from the beginning.
That would be sales, right?
Yeah,
That's
that
why
would
we
be
don't do
sales.
that, right?
Exactly. And they just, you could, just their face is like such a relief, like, oh my gosh, you're actually here to help me find a house, not get your commission. Yeah, that's what I told you. But people don't, obviously people can say anything, right? They once you get that trust and that relationship, it's amazing.
So you should tell
I like
somebody.
that you, I don't mind, I like that you said, that you're looking for things when someone comes into an open house, because I've trained so many people on open houses, back in the day, but to look for those things, because you are wanting, before they can get to know you, you have to be able to open the dialogue,
Yeah.
and sometimes people come in, I'm just looking,
On the
I got
defensive,
a
right?
realtor,
Yeah.
but they really do have questions, and sometimes they don't always openly just ask. For example, we had a couple that came in and they said, oh, we have a realtor, and I was training 2 other agents at the time, and they said, we just want to look around. That's great, go ahead and have a look around, we're here to answer any questions. So the wife went on down the hall, he was still standing in the main room, and he was doing one of these, you know, he's just sitting there, and he was just, you know what I mean, and you know he's got this question.
Right.
And I'm looking at the agents like, I'm like, go and ask him, you know?
Yeah.
And they're like, what? He's just standing there. And I'm like, and so I went up and said, it's kind of a strange room, right? And he's like, yeah, what would you do with this room? And I knew he had that question.
Yeah.
So I love that you said that, because that is what you have to pay attention to as well, because not everybody is forthcoming with,
Yep.
oh, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I want. So you have to know when to ask the question or approach them and things like that. So
I think you also have to know that you're not going to be successful 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
so I take a lot of risk. If I'm doing open houses, I tell you a perfect story. I had this couple come into an open house I was sitting, and the guy had on like blue shorts and a pink shirt and a white belt, and a big guy. He's like 6'5", you know, had a visor on. I go, you look like you just jumped out of Golf magazine. and his wife is hysterically laughing because she goes, nobody gives him shit. And I was like, what do I care?
Right.
Turns out him and I play golf still to this day. And
Nice.
he bought a house, and you know, yeah, it's just, you know,
Right.
I take a lot of risk, especially open house wise, by trying to take people's fences down by making them laugh.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's my way. It doesn't
Sure.
work. But I've stepped on it plenty of times when I've
Yeah.
said something and people are like, look at me like,
Yeah,
you know, you just get, and when I train people at open houses, I tell them, like, you may not be comfortable saying some of the things that I say,
Right.
Sure.
but look at the reaction, because that's really what you're looking for, is
Yeah.
reaction. So let me cover that for a second. So on open houses, it's my belief, and it's been wildly successful for me. I have an open house sign-in sheet, just like everybody else does. But when people walk into my open house, I say, guys, have you been to other open houses today? Yeah. I said, okay, you don't look like you're cut or bruised or anything, but I know every realtor beat the snot out of you to try to get your name and your email and your
Right.
phone number.
Right.
I have a sign-in sheet. You don't have to sign it.
Yeah.
But I do ask that you read it.
Yeah.
So all you gotta do is read it. If you wanna sign it after you read it, great, but if you don't, that's fine. Take a look around the house, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Yeah.
And then I watch them. And as they're reading it, because the first option, you've seen it.
Yeah, that's
The
pretty
the first one is, here's my information, or here's my email. Please send me 975 emails within the next 25 hours so that I can hunt you down and kill you.
Yeah.
Option 2, here's my phone number. Please text me 427 times, and especially in the middle of the night when my kids are sleeping, so I'm going to hate you. Or 3, I'm interested in creating a business relationship.
Cool.
So as they're reading it, the key to the whole thing is, as they're reading it, I'm like, guys, look, I'm busy. I really, and then it says underneath there, it says, if your name is Jennifer Aniston or Mickey Mouse or Don, but I don't need your information, I already have it.
Yeah.
So in other words, don't give me some bullshit number,
Sure.
bullshit
Yeah.
name,
Yep.
because I'm not interested. If you don't want to work with me, or if you already have,
Sure.
I'm good with that. I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
Sure.
But if you want to create a relationship that you control, it's a business relationship.
Yeah.
Give me your information.
Yeah.
You'd be amazed how many people actually sign it.
Yeah.
Because I took it away. I took the
Yep.
I'm gonna beat you up until I get your information. You
Yeah.
know?
Right.
Oh, well, give me your phone number so I can text you the information on this house. Come on, I mean, people
Right.
are like, yeah, I'll just take a look at it. And then,
Sure.
and then once they're turned off,
Yeah, you lost them.
you lost them. They're done. They're
Would you
gone.
guys agree that I think open houses is one of the best ways to really learn that part of creating the relationship? You know,
The best.
because
In our business?
you have the opportunity when they come in to really talk with them, and
Yeah.
that's how I learned. Because when I first did it, I was broke when I started the real estate. I'd gone from making a lot of money to not making any money, going through divorce, going through all kinds of crazy stuff at the time. And so I was, really hungry to make a deal. So
Right.
in the beginning, I started, almost tackling them when they wanted to. I'm so excited they were there
Yeah.
that I had a flyer in their face. You gotta
Yeah.
check this house out. They're
Yeah.
like, oh my God, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And then on the opposite of that, you can sit there and act like you don't care.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so it's a whole.
But it's a great
There's
way
so
to
many
learn
different
it.
ways to like.
For
Hey,
sure.
how are you? Not like, oh my God, thanks.
Yeah.
Or you can just be like,
Wow.
just finishing up this. Take a look around. I'll be with you in a second.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
exactly.
no big deal.
Right.
No, we couldn't agree more. I mean, that listing was the best thing that happened to us. And
Right.
that we were like, this is how we're going to do it, open houses. Because back then we didn't really have a lead source, obviously. We were in the position to be paying for leads at that point, really. I mean, we could have, but we didn't, that wasn't the route we wanted to go. And you get in front of somebody, we feel pretty confident we can win them over.
And then you kind of see it like the family tree, right? Like you have that client, you treat them awesome, then all of a sudden they're referring you, you know what I mean? It
So-
just starts to
so
branch
She's
the
the
tree.
queen of that.
You guys can pinpoint the very foundation starting point of your business. It was that open house.
For sure.
Same thing for me.
And then just our
I did
sphere,
open
yeah.
house every single day because I had nothing else
Yeah,
to do.
right.
So I bought a hot spot and a table and a chair, and I sat
Are
in
you
an
talking
open
about
house.
those little boxes? The
Yeah.
yeah, I had one of those too.
Yeah, and I sat in a house on 64th Street. It was Megan, one of our agents. It was overpriced, and it was on a busy street, so I knew it wasn't going to sell right away.
Yeah.
And I was going to get a lot of traffic every single day. I sat there. I went,
Yeah.
found some class in the morning, sat open house in the afternoon, and I can tell you that from that open house was the very start of my business. One of the people I met there has bought 4 properties from me.
Right.
That's amazing.
Crazy.
And all the people I met, and if you do a deal and you make the relationship, if it doesn't turn into 3 or 4, then your relationship wasn't what you thought it was.
Exactly.
So,
That's
if
exactly
the
true.
mom, aunt, uncle, sister, cousin, brother, neighbor,
Yeah.
if they're not calling you because you did a good job,
Right.
then
It's
the
not
relationship
really-
wasn't what you thought it was.
Exactly,
Yeah.
for sure,
No doubt.
100%.
Mine happened the same way. So
Which
I was-
comes all the way around to the foundation of what we do is relationships.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
100%.
So let's talk
And
about.
she's the queen of that. I mean, she is the queen of getting referrals from people. So
She's
she
way better
truly
looking
is.
than you, too.
Well, yeah, and that doesn't hurt. That doesn't hurt. But so I like how you did that because that's true. Because for the first year or so, year and a half, I thought I was building great relationships, but I'm never getting referrals. So I'm like, what the heck, And I know they like me. I feel it. You can tell, right? But
Didn't ask.
I didn't ask for a referral. Well, I take that back. We do send a follow-up at the end, an email. But I didn't ask enough. But she doesn't ask.
I
She
never asked for a referral.
She's never asked for a referral. Her phone just rings. But then I realized, I started watching her, and the little things that really show you care is what she does. And that's when I was like, the light
Such
bulb
as?
went on.
Such as.
For an
Yeah,
example,
that would be my
what,
next question. Leading into where you built the relationship, can you talk about what your process is like after that? So
you
Any
find
questions, you guys can throw questions at us.
she
Yeah,
finds
speak.
out, and I guess I'll let you speak for yourself.
Yeah.
I don't have to speak
Yeah.
for you.
Well,
So
hey, I
go-
like this. I said I wasn't big in front of the camera, so I'm like, I'll just do this. This works good for me. No, I mean, again, I don't think, like you said, I don't think it's one of those things that really can be taught. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not really one of those things like, hey, do this. Like, genuinely care about people, and I genuinely listen to the small details, right? So if you tell me halfway through the transaction that your son's 16th birthday is on the 15th of next month, I hear those things and I make notes of those things and I text those people or I send them a box of cookies. I'm big about spending money on my clients. I know not everybody is big on that. And I'm not talking about a lot of money, but I'm talking about
Just something.
and not the typical birthdays and anniversaries that everybody sends you things on, not those kinds of things, special things, right? Like, oh, you got a promotion at work? Amazing. Here's, go buy yourself some coffee or, whatever it is, like little things. But I think that has really been the thing that's been most successful for me is honing in on the little details that everybody else just sits there and goes, but they're not listening. They're really not listening. It's just like, okay, I heard that, but it didn't really resonate. I care, like I do really care about people, and those things that are big to other people. I've just spent a month helping you buy a house. Like, that's a big deal to me too, right? You could have gone with 80,000 other people, right? It goes both ways.
So I teach in my class that if you're at an open house and you're talking to someone and you want to make sure you remember something,
Yeah.
write it down right in front of them.
Yeah.
It's not going to hurt you.
Yeah.
They're going to think either she has a bad memory or she's really interested in what I'm talking about.
Right.
Which is, for me, it's true both.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
I'm going to forget that.
exactly.
So then at the end, when I'm like, so tell me more about your kid, Josh. What
Yeah.
he plays baseball? Or,
Right.
yeah, so there's nothing wrong with writing notes right in front of them. Don't feel like you're being insulted. Actually, I think you're actually promoting yourself.
Yeah.
Saying, I'm really listening to you.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I friend
Well, make sure it's not like they don't think you're writing a grocery list.
Right,
I
you're
need pop-
psycho.
No, I'm really listening to you. Coffee, I need sugar,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I know there's different schools of thoughts on this too, right? Like friending business clients on Facebook and Instagram. I'm huge on it. I have nothing to hide, like you say, right? Like I'm not trying to put on one persona when I'm in front of clients and one persona when I'm with my friends and family. And so I think you can, and even if you don't necessarily friend that person right away, like the first day you're not going to friend them, right? They're going to be like, okay, who's this psycho looking me up, right? But you can like do a little Facebook stalking or, like take the time behind the scenes to find out. Take the time to find out like something, that shows that you've created some extra effort with people. And again, you have to actually care to do that, right? You
Absolutely.
don't want to spend the time to go do that if you don't really care and really want to get to know people. And that's the thing I'm most proud of in this business is, in 3 years now, like Brock said, it's not like we have huge family here that's sending us referrals all the time.
Any family here, really.
I've, built a referral-based business only, which I remember sitting down and we're like, God, that'd be so awesome if your phone just rang from somebody, right? That was like, hey, I want to sell my house, or such and such gave me your number. And I mean, a good bulk of your business is starting to be, since you've kind of changed your paradigm and mindset shift, for what's important. So that's, I don't know, I love that. It doesn't even feel like work, honestly. I mean, some long days, right? You're like, oh, that was a long day, but it's never like being trapped 10 days in corporate America behind a desk having,
That's the best day when you call and get a deal and it just falls in your lap.
Yes, seriously,
So tell me a little bit about it. It sounds like you both have your business together, but also both have your own independent business, is what it sounds like. Can you talk about that? I'm hearing that. You're saying Brock and his business, I'm saying Jeannie and her business.
All our marketing is together, but we completely run our own separate business. Paperwork, everything is done separately. So we market together. As far as when I say market, like our photos on our emails are all together, so we show that, we do get a lot.
Well, I think that's what's important to us
yeah.
too, family, right? Like, so that's a big portion of why our things are branded that way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So her marketing
listings, don't go with her, go with me.
No, so
I'm kidding.
it's so weird how it works, but there was a lot of fighting the first year and a half, because we're so competitive.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing, because guess what? She's pushing me to be better, and I'm pushing her to be better.
Jamie goes out to start her car and it doesn't start.
Yeah, my wheels are slashed all of a sudden.
Flat tire.
See ya. Guess I'll have to go take that one today, huh?
And I
Don't
think
forget you got the kids.
Yeah.
I think we both like people so much, like
Yeah.
hanging out with people, and to me, it's just having, like you say, it's just fun, right?
Yeah.
So, I think we both fight so hard for those listings. So, but we've come up with a good
Yeah.
game plan from this point forward, and the last year and a half has been
Yeah,
never
better.
never better. So,
But yeah, we do completely run our businesses separately. Like, you know how a lot of husband and wife teams, they put everything in one person's name. We don't do that. You know, my deals are my deals. And although I think we have a good understanding, maybe not as much as we used to early on, I think what the beautiful thing is, you know, if I'm having an issue with a deal, Brock can step in and help, even though it's my deal.
Right.
And it doesn't happen
Yeah, we know
often, but
that, right.
it's kind of nice to have that springboard.
But ultimately, they're both your deals, because at the end, when the check goes in the bank, it's going in the same
Yeah,
account.
exactly.
It is.
Ain't that
It
the
is.
truth?
Right.
So,
and that's the truth.
So yeah, how nice is it? Like we just started a team, so
Yeah, we're
it's
excited
kind
about that.
Yeah, we're excited about that too.
interesting.
Anybody looking for a team? Blikre team's your team. Take a look.
But
Quick pop.
it's kind of interesting to see, right? Because we never have really understood the value, I don't think, and just having that person to springboard an idea off of, right? Like someone else on a team, they're calling you and you're like, gosh, man, we've been really lucky to just sit next to each other at the computer, and I have an
each
issue
other.
with the deal or he has an issue, and we just, you know, can hear each other out on that.
He
So-
learns from you, you learn from him, so you
Yeah,
make the same
definitely.
mistake.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right. You
We
talk
learn
Not
about
paying
things
twice
through.
for the same mistake.
Yeah.
That's huge. The lingo I'll pick up on hers. We'll bounce strategy off each other.
Yeah.
I'm really good at creating some of the marketing. She's good at the marketing branding part, but I've created a few, like our listing booklet, that kind of presentation. I do that kind of stuff. So we couldn't balance each other out better. We have a great working relationship.
That leads me to, I think this is all awesome, but do you guys use one system, or because do you both use your own system?
We both use our own system.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So even with the,
But that's gotta change now if you have a team, right?
Well,
I don't think so.
we were talking to Kelly a little bit about this. Our team structure is different than some. Like, we're more just a lead gen team than, you know, really a team with like a lot of learning infrastructure and things like that. I don't know what it will evolve to, but
Right.
if we told, like, neither one of us have ever used a CRM. I'm old school paper and a file. That's how I follow up with
Been in my office?
everybody. Like,
Yeah.
Really?
people
That's
always,
incredible.
like,
Yeah.
anytime
We
you
both
meet
are
with a
paper.
title or lender, they're like, hey, got this CRM, and I did sign up for one, but
Yeah,
I haven't loaded anything
We
in.
haven't
but-
loaded one thing. We're paying for nothing.
Yeah.
So.
Which
So
one?
we've never used, we signed up for Lion's Desk.
Lion Desk?
Okay, so I'm a paper guy.
Yeah.
Lion Desk is incredible.
Is
And
it?
I'm a paper guy.
Okay.
So, yeah, and I'll show you afterwards. I'll show
Okay.
you how
That'd
I
be cool.
incorporated it.
Yeah.
Because I'm old school, like, I was Mr. Sticky Note. I
Oh,
had
yeah.
sticky
Yeah,
notes
she's got sticky
everywhere.
notes
Oh, if
everywhere.
And
you
if
saw-
one fell
Yeah, I'm
off
old
and I
school.
didn't see it, I
Right,
didn't
you're in
call
trouble.
it. And then I look like an idiot,
Right.
but I found ways to put it in.
I'm
there.
still wowed by that because you guys do a pretty good book of business. So
Yeah.
to really be able to have paper trail,
Oh, yeah.
I
well,
love
that's
it.
pretty
I mean,
amazing.
I've never used a CRM. I know everybody thinks I'm crazy. They're like, you
Yeah.
could be so much more effective, and I'm happy where I'm at right now. Brock's, you know, obviously we have our goals, you know, and we're achieving those goals. But
Yeah,
and
but to get to a certain point to
Yes.
go further,
I agree.
you're gonna have to incorporate.
Yeah,
I have
because we
3,000
need
people in my
Yeah.
CRM.
Yeah.
That's a lot
You
of
can
people.
Well,
manage
exactly.
what
There's
they're
no way you
Sure,
can manage all those
sure.
in a paper
So,
system.
so let me throw something else at you. So in my marketing piece, I have a marketing budget every year, and last year my marketing budget went completely 100% into this book that I created. And to me, I felt like that was better marketing than, I don't do leads, I don't do Zillow leads, I don't do all that.
Yeah.
Mostly because I'm not the kind of guy that waits, and you gotta be the first one to call them or you're not gonna get it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's not me. If I'm with a client, I'm 100%
Yep.
Sure.
with my client. I
Yeah.
can't stop. I'm with a multi-million-dollar client looking in Silverleaf, and I'm gonna stop for a
Right.
$140,000 buyer.
Mhm.
But the $140,000 buyer, when they're in my,
Yeah.
when they're in my,
Just as
my
important as the
system,
140.
they're just as important. I treat
Sure.
them
They're
They're
exactly
getting
the
the
same.
same treatment. Yeah.
But I answer my phone all the time. So
Sure.
if you're with me as a client, I'm answering my phone, and I tell them, I say, when you guys call me, I'll answer it too. And I'll tell them, hey, I'm with somebody right now, let me call you when I'm done.
Yeah.
So that's really important. So one of the things that I put in my thing, I think there's 12 pages to it, and there's some testimonials and a map on how it works. I would tell you that the most important page in my marketing material is a page that I have a picture of a pair of shoes. And I tell people that the secret to my success is that I always try to put myself in other people's shoes. And I think that is the key and the foundation to creating relationships.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so it's tricky though. You know, you gotta. How would you feel if you were walking into an open house and there was a realtor there? So would I feel better if that realtor was dressed like this or dressed like that?
Yeah.
And we're at a show right now.
Yeah, that's all
but I'm
right.
just saying.
Cut socks thing, I'm telling you.
No,
if
no.
I was a socks fan, you would have pointed this out.
Yeah,
No, I'm comfortable, and that goes back to be who you are. If I was wearing dress pants and a tie, I would be miserable because that's how I was miserable at Corporate 500.
Right.
Because I felt like I had to be somebody. Now I get to be me, and people feel that. And if they want somebody that wears a tie for their real estate agent,
You're
I'm
probably not right for them.
not the right person.
So let's take that to another degree. So now you're into a business relationship.
Yeah.
I think you have to understand how people want to be communicated with. By phone, by text, by email, that's one thing. But also, you got to feel people out. Like, I'm going to really need to hold these people's hand.
Yep.
I'm going to need to call these people every day.
Yep.
You know, so you put yourself in their shoes as to what they want. That is the secret to creating great relationships.
Yep.
You have to adapt to each and every person that you create a relationship with. It's easier the more you go because you're part of the relationship. You got down. You know, you're you.
You're confident.
You know what you're doing. You've made adjustments to the way you do business to something that fits most, right?
Yeah.
Like I have clients that if I ever dropped an F-bomb by accident, they would be like, oh. You know,
Yeah.
Where I have other clients that are going, Johnny, this in houses, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you adapt to that. So
Sure.
I think, you know, putting yourself into other people's shoes is vitally important to
Yeah.
the
It's a
good
relationship
analogy,
building.
yeah.
How do you guys feel? Do you agree with that? Or?
100%.
Yeah, I 100% agree too. You can't treat everyone the same way, and you have to think again.
Right.
You
Everybody
listen
has-
to
yeah.
where they're coming from or what their needs and wants are, and that's going to be or what their background is, right? Maybe exactly. You have a single mom that's trying to buy for the first time. You might treat her, you know, different. Then she might need an extra level of care or guidance,
more
right?
cuddling.
Than somebody that's been through this 25 times, right? You have to know
Or an
how to
investor
adjust.
versus
Yeah, exactly.
first
Right.
time home buyer.
You
Yeah.
get a buyer seller that understands COE and SPUDs and CLUE,
Yeah.
all the acronyms, and then you've got other people.
Yeah.
I always play it safe. You know,
Yeah.
I'll tell them, hey, look, when we get to COE, close of escrow, when we get there, we're going to already have gone through something called a SPUD. That's a seller property
Yeah.
disclosure. And
Yeah.
I explain, even if I think they know it, I
Yeah.
still tell, because you don't want them to think
Feel
Never
stupid,
stupid.
right?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not going to ask because he already told me that once.
Yeah.
So I'll
I
continue
should
it
know this,
until they
right.
say, I know what that is.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
got that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
I
we
think-
never assume that. I think that can be the biggest problem, right? You assume that they understand the process. You have to assume it's their first time. Treat
Yeah.
them like that. And if they already know what they're doing, then obviously it changes, right? But at the beginning, for sure, you got to lay. And that goes to the communication piece of the business, which that's another big part of it. I think which is relationships, communicating, right? So we focus on that a lot too. And hey, this is the process. Boom, boom, boom. Like we have emails and texts that walk them through everything. So some people that way. So busy now, people don't always listen. Now they can refer back to a text or an email. They have that.
And I think sending like just little texts, like not business texts all the time too during the transaction, right?
And
like,
that's what I've
that
learned from
builds
her.
a lot of
She
the
touches her
relationship.
clients just about, actually not just about, every single day she touches her clients. And a lot of time it's not about the transaction.
No.
It's how are you doing? Hey, I know you had a tough day at work yesterday. You had mentioned how to go today or whatever, that's a bad example. But you kind of get where I'm
That's
going
actually
with it.
not
Hey, you were really
Yeah,
drunk
that's
yesterday. Are
actually-
you
Right, how's your 2 day today?
Alright,
No, I
so,
love that you do that because
Yeah.
you really separate from you know,
That
I think what
gets
you're
away from
doing
the
is
transaction.
you, because a lot of times when in the sales side of it, people will sell that side in the
Yeah.
beginning and then it's all business after that.
Exactly.
And here you're actually, no, it's about you the whole time.
Relationship.
It's
And-
a
and-
friendship,
really
that's
is.
how I try to, like,
And so
you can
I've
talk to me about
incorporated that,
anything.
and that's
Yep.
really how, like, that's
Yeah.
I've noticed a big difference. The reviews now I get are totally different than before. So I thought I was creating a good relationship. The reviews now are totally different. So it's amazing when you really show you. And I thought I was caring. I thought I was, but I really wasn't doing truly caring about that person the way I should have. I mean, I took good care of him. It was a great experience for him. There's
You
no
never
doubt
know you
about
missed
that.
something, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yes,
Yeah.
it's just the growth part.
You
Okay,
time
so-
block an hour a day for that, I'm telling you, it's a
I
business
think on
changer.
time blocking.
No, but I do try
I
to
do
set
it when I don't do it. So
No,
I
I'm
got-
a squirrel, I'm here, there.
We got 5 minutes left.
Okay.
So for the next 5 minutes, it's a two-part question, okay? A, what the name of your team is, the Blikre team?
Yep.
Okay, so A, what's you guys' secret sauce? And I think we've already answered that, it's how you create relationships.
Yep,
And B, I'm gonna give you some advice, and then I want your response to what you're looking for in a team.
Okay.
So I've done the team thing, and I realized that mentoring was better for me than being a team leader.
Okay.
My problem is I work 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
So I expected everybody on my team to work
Right.
at least 40.
Yeah.
I mean, put in at least 40.
Yeah.
And when I asked them of that, it was like, I'm going to the dunes. Or I'm gonna,
yeah.
Right.
and it got so frustrating for me.
Sure.
So it's like, well, you know, how much business, you know, what's your pipeline look like? Well, this, well, how many open houses did you do? Well, none, because I had this party to go to. So I just realized that it wasn't them, it was me.
Yeah.
Sure.
It was me. So I was
You're
better.
wired different.
I was better at mentoring.
Yeah.
I grew up in the south side of Chicago. I mean,
Right.
we had a work ethic. You know,
Yeah.
that's just the way I was raised.
Sure.
And then I realized that mentoring people was better for me. So, you know, walking them through the process, you know, if you did this, it'd help you through that. So let's talk a little bit about your team, and don't be afraid to promote what you guys are offering.
Yeah.
This is a great way to do it.
Yeah.
It's a perfect avenue to do it. But I will give you this advice. You guys know what's working for you guys.
Yep.
That's obvious, and you've been successful at it. My advice to you is to bring in like-minded people, and don't bring in the mass. Like, you don't want 20 people to join your team
Right.
because of this. You really don't. You want, I don't know what you want. You want
Yeah.
2 or 3. The right people is so key.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know what? It's so temporary.
Yeah.
And it's just
Agreed.
like you're growing. So tell us a little bit about what the
I'm gonna let you
Blikre
say
team would
it.
offer people, and how do you take your secret sauce and offer it to people that might want to join your team.
I think honestly. the
Okay,
way-
so we ran out of time for that.
Thank you. Socks. I tell you what, never.
Some White Sox.
Yeah.
No, right. Really.
I think for us the big thing is somebody that cares and somebody that has a strong work ethic. If you have those two things, because you can't train and being able to connect with people. If they can do that, we can teach them everything else. Like, we can get that part. That part's easy. So anybody can learn that.
And we want to see people succeed. I think a lot of times, same thing for team, right? It's like, oh, can this person make me a lot of money? We don't really, I don't know, I get a lot of joy from seeing people succeed and seeing people get ahead. So I think those people, like, we will give every tool we possibly can, but
Yeah,
you
I
have
think
to.
we would love to have people that have done probably like, one transaction, and take them under our wing and show them everything, and because we do find
People
joy
that
in
don't
that.
already have bad habits, maybe?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
maybe that too, but, or even, you're thinking of getting in the business, those are the type of people we like. So, you wanna add to it? I'm
Yeah.
kinda,
So let me add to it.
yeah, okay.
Okay, so as someone that's been with this brokerage since the beginning, and someone that's been in sales for a long time, let me tell you what I see and what I think would interest anybody looking to join your team. These are two people that are obviously extremely authentic. That comes across to me. Well, yeah. No, really, you guys come across like whoever gets on you, you're gonna really care about them.
Yeah.
For sure.
So if you're out there and you're looking for a team, not everybody's gonna be right for you guys.
Yeah.
Not everybody's gonna be right for Josh's team or the Lawton team or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
To me, I think if you're out there and you're looking for a team that's gonna hold your hand through the transaction, not beat you up, and be there to support you, God, I think you guys are great.
Oh yeah, and what I've known them for a while now, and I know they've put together something really special with the team. So they are really looking for some people that really like to get to work. I know you got with your marketing and all the skills you guys have, more than they can even handle probably with the leads and things that you have. So if you
we definitely have a lot of leads. Yeah, if you are great with customer service and you actually, if you match up with us as far as not personality, but the way of caring for people, we have plenty of leads. We already have 2 of our team members are closing 3-4 transactions a month already on our team. So, and we've only had a team for a month and a half. So we're off and running. So if you just don't know how to lead gen, don't worry about it. Come to our team. But if you seriously care about people and you live in the East Valley, because all our business is in the East Valley, we'd love to have you.
All right, guys. So that's this week's show. Thank you guys so
Thanks
much.
for having us.
Truly, you guys
Appreciate
come
it.
across as so authentic and
We were nervous, so you made this really
Yeah,
easy.
so
we're very authentic
You
in how
can
we feel
tell.
about the socks. So.
Yeah, I can tell that you're a good guy.
All right.
Thanks
So,
for having us.
Here's one last thing. If you're not sure that they might not be the right place for your team, that's the guy you want to call. He's got the pulse on what teams are right for what people. And again, we don't have any sponsors to thank, but I do want to thank Kelly,
Yeah.
who puts all this together every week. Kelly Harris, who wears red every Friday to support our troops, and I
you're red.
appreciate that.
Okay.
So that's it. We'll see you next week.
you
Actually,
next
I'm going to
week.
be in Chicago, so you'll see Mike next week.
Have a good one.
Later.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys, good job.
Thank you.
I sent you the